like to call to order this meeting of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners. Note that all commissioners are present, including Commissioner Engel, who is with us virtually. You there, Fred?
He's on, not be on yet. I don't think he's on yet.
Oh, he's not? Well, he will be joining us any moment now.
Probably traffic.
Yep. The board did meet in executive session to discuss matters of personnel and real estate. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. And I would ask, we have some guests here tonight. Boy Scouts of America Troop 77 from Trio Life Church, back corner of the room there. Welcome, guys. Appreciate you coming. Robert Ziegler is your Assistant Scoutmaster. And if the three of you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'd appreciate that. And then after that, we'll have a moment of silence before we get on with the meeting. Okay? You're up, guys.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Welcome, everybody. We will begin with public comment, petitions, complaints, suggestions from citizens. Yes. Please come up. Try to keep your up to the podium.
This is my first time doing this. Okay.
Oh, it's easy. Try to keep, state your name and address.
That's what I was
We
saying.
need to turn on your microphone.
Okay. My name is Margaret Gaines. I live at 3861 North 6th Street. And the reason that I am here and my neighbors are here is because recently the township put up no parking signs in the rear of our house on Allen, I believe it's Avenue. Okay. Which has created a hardship for us. And we understand why it was done because Corey Peters, who's another neighbor, I parked his trucks in the way and the snowplow couldn't dump its snow. Okay. And we've been parking back there for, me, 20 years at least, right? And the reason I even started parking back there was because my car got sideswiped twice out front and somebody backed into me once. And by then I was like, I'd be safer if I was out back. And since then I've had health issues where it's very detriment for me to try to get into my front door because I have a lot of steps. In the rear of my house, it's the way it is. I just have to go straight to my house and I have one little step and I can get to my house. And I was using a walker at one time. And so if I have to go back and I have issues, I'm gonna have really a problem, you know? And so I think we all understand that there needs to be the space for the plow. So, you know, I think that it seems to me that we can do both, that we can put the signs up so the plow can dump its snow where it needs to, but the rest of us can park. Like the other night, I was coming home and I had to circle my whole block a couple of times because there was no place for me to park anywhere close to my house. So I had to park across the street and up a ways. So that's me crossing 6th Street at dark, you know. So that's, I don't know what their issues are, but it's similar. Okay, thank you.
All right, we heard you, and I would ask the manager to assign somebody to talk and address the situation, in consultation with the chief. Okay?
Hey,
Thanks for coming out. That was easy, wasn't it?
what?
That was easy, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But I spoke in front of people before, so I'm pretty good at that.
The next time you can do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, I was thinking when we were doing it, I haven't done this for a really long time, and I remembered every word.
And now you can't stop. All right, good. Well, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the board tonight? Yes, sir.
You got the same issue?
Please come up, say your name, and try to keep it to 3 minutes,
Yep.
please.
Yep. Leroy Wade, 3859 North 6th Street. Hear about the ordinance that was recently put in place about no parking in Long Alley and Pearl there. And all I'm looking for, excuse me, is an amendment to maybe the parking ordinance where they can put signs up where Pearl Alley is, that they can't, you can park so far away from, you can't park within there because the plow truck couldn't make that turn that day. And I know the reason why, because of all the heavy equipment that was parked out back. And my wife's disabled, and she needs, we use the alley, it's just a straight walk to the back and everything. And I think just not a no parking ban, but just an amendment to what was put in place to that alley where there can be no parking from a certain area to a certain area. And,
Okay.
okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Mr. Proboka will hear you out and
Thank you.
see what we can work out. Anybody else wish to speak tonight? Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
do this real quick though? Hello, everyone. Well, maybe a couple of months back, I had addressed the commissions to ask you guys to support our grant, and I just want to thank you. We did receive it, and I wanted to come out and personally thank you all for that. And also, too, with the podcast, look who I just met, and I thought it would be really nice, and I know it's a loaded night, so maybe on another night to ask how we can really engage the community with that. And everything is on schedule, and I just wanted to say thank you.
All right.
Boy, did I pick the right night.
You can tell us who you are.
Oh, I didn't say that. I guess my nerves got the best of me. My name is Kendra McDowell, and I'm with Premier Health and Human Services, and that's my partner in crime yarning back there, Caitman.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
My name is Timothy Patterson, and I live at 213 Montrose Street, and in the First Ward. Now, the reason I'm here tonight, I wanted to bring to your attention the situation of wrecked and junked vehicles being stored on the Rescue Fire Company lot on Long 6th Street. Now, this problem has been going on for several years now, and it's a real eyesore. It reflects very poorly on our township, and I think the township is setting a bad example for the residents. Also, it's bad for business along the 6th Street corridor. There's a business across the street that's up for lease, and it's bad for the residents and just the general public. Now, at the same time, as you may recall, about a year and a half ago, a business in the 3400 block, which is 3 blocks south of the fire company, which is 3700, they were requesting a variance, or I guess a waiver, to have a junkyard on their business. And of course, the commissioners, and rightly so, rejected that request. So what we have here, we have a township-sponsored organization which is basically doing the same thing, and you're allowing this to continue and to occur and to continue on. Now, in the latter part of 2022, I talked to the township codes officer, and she informed me that that particular part of the parking lot, or part of that ground of the fire company, is actually in the city of Harrisburg. So she said she couldn't do anything, which I understand that. So I did talk to I talked to the township fire marshal, and we just talked around and around, and he basically refused to take any action. I then contacted the township manager, and I talked to him, and he subsequently deferred to the fire marshal. Now, my suggestion to both of these men was to to store the wrecked and junked vehicles, a good place to do that would be at the in the highway department off of Elmerton Avenue. They have ground there outside their building. It's out of sight and the public wouldn't see it, and that would pretty much solve the problem. But for a while there, we didn't have anything, but it started up again. Right now, there's a car upside down. And so what I'm asking is that you, the commissioners, exercise your authority and please direct the fire marshal to cease the practice of storing wrecked and junk vehicles on the Rescue Fire Company property. Thank you.
Okay, could you,
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. You and I have spoke about this before, and it is an ongoing issue. And we spoke about it last, the vehicles were removed, and now there is another vehicle back. And I agree with you, if a resident had a vehicle like that on their property, they would be cited. It is an eyesore, it's in plain sight, it's a safety issue. I agree with you, it should be removed. I was told the same thing you were told by the fire marshal. But I agree that it is a safety issue and it should not be there. They use the vehicles for training, but that's not an appropriate place for storage. So I'm hoping that manager will look into this, speak with the fire marshal. The fact that the property is in the city of Harrisburg, I don't think has any bearing on this. It is a township sponsored organization. So I was told the same thing, that it's in the city of Harrisburg, but that doesn't bear any weight.
So I agree.
It's
Thank
a
you.
township fire company, and we wouldn't allow residents to keep their property like that, so the township should not either. I agree with you. Thank you for coming here tonight.
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Agree with you.
Okay, anybody else? Mr. Ziegler, did you want to say anything, or?
I haven't been to one of these in a couple of years.
Could you come up to the microphone, please?
Certainly, sir.
Right here.
I'm Bob Ziegler. I'm with Troop 77. We're just down the street at the Tree of Life Church. But I haven't been to one of these for several years, and I think it's a good example of representative government and how people can elect people to represent them. And I believe that all of you have a certain segment of the county, and probably some outreach to help people know who their commissioner is. I'd hate to say it, I don't know which one of you is mine.
Where do you live?
I live at 3204 John Gold Drive.
That's Steve, right? They're guilty.
Sir, we're all your commissioners.
That's right.
All right, we work for all the residents of the township, so it really doesn't matter. We'll take care of any situation you work for.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody else before we move on to our agenda? Okay, hearing none. Approval of minutes from our February 22nd Board of Commissioners workshop.
Mr. President, I'll move for approval of the minutes from the February 22nd meeting.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hisro, seconded by Commissioner Napper. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And at this point in the program, we have a proclamation, which I'll ask the chief to read in a minute. But this honors the service of Captain Jason Reber for more than 24 years in service to the township. Albania, is that right?
Yes, sir. It's in New York.
Anyway, it's over that way. In any event, in our packets is a copy of the proclamation. Do I have a motion to accept that proclamation so that we can present it to Mr. Reber?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. See ya.
That's it. It's not that easy.
Oh, man, come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not? No, it's good, sir.
Not bad.
Well, before I read this, I want to wish Captain Reber all the best. Him and his wife Christine as they go to Albania and the capital of Tirana. And they're going to be doing missionary work. They've been called to this, and we're very proud of them. And, you know, I 24 years ago, I stood at this podium and recommended his hire. And he moved through the ranks as a patrol officer, undercover narcotics detective, patrol officer first class, corporal, sergeant, and for the last several years, captain. I want to personally thank him for his loyalty, his dedication to the citizens of this township. I recently was watching an interview with a very esteemed general, retired general from one of our armed services, and he said the best time to be loyal is when there's 100 reasons not to be. And I want to commend this man for being loyal. So, having said all of that, proclamation of the Board of Commissioners of Susquehanna Township, Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, recognizing the honorable service of Captain Jason Reber to Susquehanna Township for more than 24 years. Whereas Lieutenant Jason Reber began his career with the Susquehanna Township Police Department on January 18, 2000, served honorably in the United States Army Reserve. Whereas Captain Reber ascended the ranks in the Susquehanna Township Police Department by consistently demonstrating the high standards of professional law enforcement and organizational leadership. Whereas Captain Reber has a career of placing the safety of others above his own, earning a Medal of Heroism, Medal of Valor for his heroic actions in the service to the community of Susquehanna Township and Dauphin County. Whereas among his many achievements, Captain Reber served on the Dauphin County Crisis Response Team as both a negotiator and a tactical operator. Whereas Captain Reber announced his retirement from the Susquehanna Township Police Department effective January 31st, 2024, culminating a 24-year career with honor to the Board of Commissioners, Police Department, and residents of Susquehanna Township. Now therefore it be hereby proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners of Susquehanna Township appreciates the honorable service and sacrifice that Captain Jason Reber has made to the Susquehanna Township Police Department over his storied career, and acknowledges his direct contribution to improving the quality of lives of the residents of the township and all who were part of this community. And be it further proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners wishes Captain Reber a long, healthy, and happy retirement as an officer of the Susquehanna Township Police Department. Proclaimed this 14th day of March, 2024. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Manager Kabolka. Thank you, Captain Reber.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Three minutes, please.
Yeah, I'll keep it 3 minutes. I'm not a big speaker. So I just want to thank you, commissioners. Some of you have been with me my entire career, or most of it. You've seen me progress through my entire career, and I've done a lot of things for you personally, you know, throughout the years, and it was great working for this township. And I just want to thank you guys for giving us such great benefits and a great contract and wanting to have people come work for this great township that we have. I want to thank the chief. I want to thank the chief for all he's done for me and all the opportunities he's presented to me over the years. It's not an easy job. I don't want to stand here and tell about the job, but everyone knows what it entails. And I thank the chief for supporting me throughout my career and helping me be the best guy I can be. Like the chief said, he hired me when I was 22. I was just a baby. I was a kid, you know. And I know that I'm not here to offend these younger officers here that are in their 20s and they're just starting. But I'm sorry, you're just a kid, you know. You don't until you're doing this and everything. That's when you really grow up and really find yourself and become an adult. And you know, this job is more than just yourself. It's something bigger than yourself. So, thank you, commissioners. Thank you, chief. Thank you, Christine, my wife. She's given me all the support, and thankfully she was there through all the great times and the bad times and everything else. And my in-laws are back there. Chris and Laura Dacus, they're going to be the ones that we're going to be going overseas with, and they're going to help us with the mission work. We're going to be helping them with their mission work, so we're really happy to have them here. And my parents are here as well, so thanks again for everybody for the support. And I'm going to be off to Albania. So, thank you. The temperature's about to go up.
Do you want to do the civil
It's gonna be a lot of
service
volume.
first?
Sir, sir,
Civil service?
we can do that. Yes.
All right.
Mr. President, I think that's a great thing to do on the heels of retirement.
Yeah. Yin and yang, in and out. Okay, we're going to switch up the agenda a little bit and move up for the purposes of convenience for our police friends. Civil service list certification. We have a hiring link tonight, and before you is an updated civil service list. Is there a motion to adopt the list?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Sanderson and Hisco. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public Safety Director Martin.
Mr. President, thank you. I'd like to recommend the conditional offer of employment to Mr. David Schroeder.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Sanderson again and Hisco. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Get your uniform on, you start tonight. Congratulations, everybody. I'd like to call up, the first thing we do is 3 awards. So I'd like to call up Patrol Officer First Class Brian Aponte, Patrol Officer Kristen Deerdorf, and Patrol Officer Tracy Kruger. Come on up. Commissioners, I know many times you see them when they're hired, and yes, let them see you. And then you don't see them much after that until we call them in here for these types of awards. So they're going to be receiving an award of merit medal, and I want to explain it. So on our police department, we have a template that is the foundation of our patrol, and it's called the 5-Tool Program. And in that program, they are to follow through their patrol on a monthly basis and adhere to those 5 tools, which has part of it really the heart of community policing. Because the best type of police work in the United States of America takes place outside of the police car. So those 5 tools are foot patrols, mandatory foot patrols, because they're outside of the car interacting with people. That's where police work takes place. That's where service takes place. Honorable endeavor details. What an honorable endeavor detail is if they're on patrol and they see kids out, juveniles, they have to stop and interact with them. Then there's the Vigilant Protector Program. If they're on patrol, and you've had some folks come to the podium about the Vigilant Protector Program, they have to, if they see something that would lend itself to criminal activity, they have to take an overt action to take means to remedy that. Then, of course, there's traffic enforcement. There are criminal arrests. Sometimes the best crime prevention in America is a good criminal arrest. So these 3 officers in 2023, 2 of them finished in the top 4 category, in the top 4 of the 5 categories. One was in 5 of the top 5 categories. And they just, in terms of work ethic, in terms of attention to duty, in terms of loyalty to the program, I wanted to commend them in public, and I'm going to share with you their work product in 2023. Officer Tracy Kruger is on the end. 174 foot patrol details, 130 honorable endeavor details, 25 stand in the gap details. So stand in the gap is kind of a 6th tool. They have to go into the school that's in their patrol beat. And every month we have what's called a word of the month. Could be, respect, it could be responsibility. They have to engage the kids on that word and talk to them about that word, what that word means to them. She had 25 stand in the gap details, 181 vigilant protector details, 258 written traffic warnings, 75 traffic citations, 45 criminal arrests, And that's all in addition in working her patrol beat, where in 2023, she handled 1,323 calls. Great job, Tracy.
Thank you, Chief.
Officer Kristen Deerdorf, 283 foot patrol details, 119 honorable endeavor details, 26 stand in the gap details, 226 vigilant protector details, 221 written warnings, 12 traffic citations, 16 criminal arrests, and in addition, working her patrol beat, which I know Kristen works patrol beat 3, she handled 1,415 calls last year. And this fella standing next to me, Officer First Class Brian Aponte, 116 foot patrol details, 117 honorable endeavor details, 26 stand in the gap details, 54 vigilant protector details, 278 written traffic warnings, 113 traffic citations, 58 criminal arrests, while handling 928 calls. That is work ethic. If it's one thing in my whole career that I've always detested, it's the stench of laziness, and these 3 officers are here to send a message to all of us that they are here working for you and the citizens in this township. And I think they deserve a round of applause. Here, what, they pin these medals on you?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you again. Outstanding work.
You want to
Maybe with the promotees, get everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay, you guys take 5.
Hang tight.
I'm gonna bring you back, okay? I'm going to ask Calvin Vanderpool, PFC Clee Tillman, PFC Mike Darcy, come on up. Stand to my right. We have 3 promotions today, members of the board, and, you know, I'm going to speak to each of them. I'm going to start with the detectives first, and then go to the sergeant promotion. And I want to thank you for recognizing, and even some of the things that were talked about in executive session. You know, I want to thank you for recognizing that for our township in all of the departments, the most important thing we do is hire and promote. If we don't get that right, then the service to the citizens just isn't what it should be. And the one thing this township does do right is we hire and promote the right people. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to be part of this team. The 2 detectives, Clee Tillman and Mike Darcy, I'm going to speak to them first. Mike came to us actually from a very large department in Delaware, Newcastle County Police Department, Delaware. He is from the West Shore. He has a bachelor's degree from Shippensburg University. You have seen his work before you on traffic and engineering studies. He has an absolute gift of attention to detail, and he does a lot of our background investigations for our new candidates. And his future with us, and you know what, this promotion is definitely a strike to the future for all 3 of these men in our department and our township. His future with us is in forensics. He's got a gift for that. It's, you know, forensics today is more important than it's ever been as it relates to criminal investigations, and Mike brings us that aptitude. So the first promotion is I'm going to recommend that Michael D'Arcy
is appointed a detective of police for Susquehanna Township.
You need a motion? I'll move.
Yes.
Yeah, I move that we make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Clee Tillman. If you don't know Clee Tillman, I don't know how you don't know Clee Tillman. Because I mean that. Former Army paratrooper. He's a product of this township. A former Susquehanna High School Indian football player. He came to us from Lyconsboro Police Department. But more than that, Clee is an entrepreneur. He sent you an email today about some of the things he's involved in. 5 books, Clee, and now the new YouTube cartoon, Sergeant Be Safe. So he's out there. He's a point of power for us. He's a point of power for this township. And I know that it's been his desire for many years to be a detective, and he's earned that right. And I just want to say this, on behalf of Clee and his family, the Tillman name in law enforcement in Dauphin County goes back a long way. His father was an esteemed and honorable police officer for many years in the borough of Steele. And I know he's looking down very proudly tonight. So with that, I recommend the promotion to Detective Officer Clee Tillman.
So,
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Cross. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Of all places, I first met Clee at a borough meeting in Lycans all those years ago, and here we are.
Wow.
We made it.
If you span my profession from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, whether it's on TV and real life, there's one thing that citizens know. They know when that officer arrives that has 3 stripes on their sleeve is the sergeant. They know that that person, male or female, that has those 3 stripes on their sleeve is the person in charge. It's the person they want to talk to. And on our police department, the sergeant rank is actually the center of gravity. They drive the police department from a leadership perspective 24 hours a day. It's not me, it's the sergeants carrying out the mission. And it's a big job, and it's a very large, responsible job. And we're blessed to have a man with us tonight that is really ready to take on that responsibility. He's been acting as a platoon commander of D Platoon, soon to be Sergeant Calvin Vanderpool, has an associate degree from Lackawanna College, graduated from the Police Academy in Mansfield University. He came to us, thankfully, from the Pembroke Police Department. He assists with our accreditation program. Last year, he was decorated for his negotiation with an armed barricaded suspect at the Pines Apartments, where he did an outstanding job in bringing that very volatile situation to a peaceful conclusion. In this man, we can put our trust from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And that's really where the rubber meets the road. So it gives me just a great feeling and a sense of pride to recommend to you the promotion of Calvin Vanderpool to the rank of sergeant.
so moved.
Moved by Commissioner
Second.
Sanders,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Palomo. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Have the pinning, the gold badge. Who gets the honor? You do. Thanks, Chief. Mr. President, member of the board, thank you. Thank you for your continued support of the men and women of our police department and our public safety. Manager Volker, thank you for your continued support. And with that, I think we're ready for a picture.
Let's do it. Yep.
Members of the Board of Commissioners, we were very blessed over a year ago to hire Pima, one of the first Nepalese officers, certainly in central Pennsylvania. We put him through the academy. He did a great job, and I'm recommending for him to come off probationary status and be a permanent employee with us, a permanent officer. So that is my recommendation to him.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Rothrock, seconded by Commissioner Van Hook. Comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Just tell them a little bit about yourself, how you got here.
Oh, my name is Hemant Mang. I came to United States, I would say 11 years ago. When I came here, I was 13 years. As soon as I started my school, in the middle school, I always want to be a police officer. And they look cool and they help people. So I was always amazed with the law enforcement. I tried, when I graduated my academy, I tried several times to be a police officer in Philadelphia. But my father was like, it's not a big city to be a police officer, we need to move to another city. So I came to Carlisle. And there I tried 3 more years to be a police officer. I felt at least 4 or 5 times, I was a little bit bad in my English and writing, but I was very fortunate to be accepted by Susquehanna Township with the Chief Martin, Captain Raver.
Excellent. Well, welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Glad to have you.
Yeah,
Doing a great job.
thank you.
Thank you, Pima.
Great loss. All right.
Thank you, buddy. All right, it's time to go to work. Let's go.
Congratulations, buddy. All right, moving on to reports of committees, buildings and grounds. Commissioner Rothrock.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Budget and Finance, Commissioner Sanderson.
We've begun the process. We've already had a brief meeting a couple weeks ago, and we'll probably be meeting every 8 weeks or thereabouts. So we've got a good jump on the year. And please, again, if any board member has anything to comment that on topics that come up throughout the year, please let us know so we can build it in and keep everyone apprised. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Public Works, Commissioner Napper.
Yes, Mr. President. In the month of February, maintenance personnel performed daily checks and repair at the pumping station. The maintenance staff performed tree and limb removal due to the recent snow and windstorm. Public Works personnel performed street sweeping throughout the township. And as a final note, Mr. President, it's now hot code and repair season. Code patches is being applied heavy throughout the township. Please contact the Public Works Department to report any potholes. This ends my report, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Rabarchak.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Penn Waste will conduct yard waste, no, my bad, excuse me. Penn Waste will conduct yard waste pickup this weekend, Saturday, the 16th of March. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. While we're on that, do we have a shredding day coming up through Penn Waste? Seems to me we had negotiated that when we did these.
Oh, they were gonna have 2 this year. That's right.
Yeah.
I can look into that.
Would you mind and let us know? Thank you very much. Admin and Personnel, Commissioner Napper.
Yes, Mr. President. The Admin Personnel Committee met March 11th to discuss current vacant positions within the township. Interviews have been concluded for the sewer operation manager. A recommendation for appointment is planned for March 28th at the workshop meeting. And as a final note, Mr. President, the township manager, Ms. Logan, is creating a program to promote employee morale with an acronym called STAR. And I'll let him elaborate more on the acronym.
Sure, thank you, Commissioner. So the acronym is Susquehanna Township Acknowledges, or excuse me, Appreciation and Recognition Program. It's still working through the details. The intention is very simple, to provide a mechanism for, one employee to recognize another employee, either within their own department or interdepartmentally. Could be any employee, doesn't matter whether it's a supervisory position or, a department head or anywhere. And it's really just designed to, provide a way for employees to get out of their silos, their respective departments, and learn a little bit more about what each other's doing, and again, to give them an opportunity to acknowledge any support beyond the typical call of their duties. So we'll get that going, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, and this ends my report, sir.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes.
Police, Commissioner Engel, are you there?
He is not.
Good.
He is off. I don't know why.
All right. I think we covered the police.
Yes.
Tonight, don't you? Let's see, we have Fire and EMS, Commissioner Hisro.
Yes, Mr. President, this is a very brief report. Progress Fire has reported 214 calls year to date. Rescue Fire, 134 to date. In terms of live-ins, Rescue currently has 3 and 2 starting in June. Progress has 9 with 14 starting in June. And lastly, Progress Fire just voted in their first international member, a 19-year-old firefighter from Germany. He'll be a live-in starting in mid-July and be with us on a 9-day visa. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Planning and zoning, Commissioner Rothrock.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. The Planning Commission meeting that was scheduled for February 26 was canceled due to lack of an agenda. There was a zoning hearing board on the 7th of March, and there was only one item that was on the agenda, and that was the Primanti Brothers on Garrison Avenue requested a variance to install wall signage larger and more numerous than permitted. They wanted to put signage on both sides of the building so people could see it from Lingelstown Road and also from the other street, which I think is Gravel Road. And that variance was approved. The 3801 Walnut hearing that was continued on the 7th of February, it was not addressed at this meeting, at this hearing, but it's going to be continued on the 3rd of April. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. School Board, Commissioner Colonna, anything?
No report, Mr. President.
All right. Authority, Commissioner Happer.
Yes, Mr. President, in the month of February, the Sewer Authority flushed and televised the sanitary storm sewer system. Authorization to proceed was issued for the sewer emergency repair project on Gallon Road in the Mountain Dale development. And the Public Works sewer staff was out at the Apple Tree pumping station for a notification of a bad pump running. Staff replaced the bad motor with a new motor and performed the necessary tests, and pump 1 at the Apple Tree station is back in service. This ends my report, sir.
All right, thank you. Shade Tree, Commissioner Cross.
Yes, Mr. President. The next meeting of the Shade Tree Commission will take place next week on March 21st at 4 p.m.
All right.
That ends my report.
All right, thank you. Communications, Commissioner Rubarchan.
No report, thank you.
Right. Human Relations, Human Resources. Anything on those fronts?
No report.
What activity? Parks and Rec, Commissioner Polona.
The RAC will meet next Tuesday at 6 p.m. here at the township.
Okay. All right, moving into heavy artillery, bids and contracts. First up is approval of contract with Edmunds GovTech Inc. for the purchase of accounting software. Want to take that, Joe?
Sure.
Staff had concluded its evaluation of proposals received for the accounting software to replace the township's current software. In total, there were 6 responses to our RFP, and they were reviewed by a small steering committee that consisted of the finance department as well as some other staff. And we evaluated each one of those responses with a weighted rubric to form a recommendation on the best solution, and to make sure it fell within the budget that was allowed for the 2024 budget. After conducting site visits, we went to 3 site visits within different municipalities to look at their software, to get an idea, to get some reviews of theirs, to see what the good, bad, and the indifferent. And after those site visits, staff is recommending the engagement of Edmunds GovTech. The modules proposed for the purchase will be briefly reviewed. We do have a representative from Edmunds online. Once awarded, the implementation is expected to take anywhere from 9 to 12 months. And the Budget and Finance Committee, we had reviewed all of this with them as well, and they are in support of staff's recommendation.
Mr. President, motion to move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Knapper and Palumbo. Comments, questions? Staff certainly did put in a lot of work and a lot of due diligence. I know that from afar, not up close, but thank you for your efforts. Comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Welcome. The hard work's yet to come.
I know. All right, approval of a contract with Arnie Brothers for trail reparations, or repairs on the capital area green. Mr. Perbolka.
Thank you, Mr. President. Provided with your agenda is a proposal from Arnie Brothers to complete some trail and improvements to a leg of the green belt that's adjacent to the East Harrisburg Cemetery. Problem we've been seeing there has been largely caused by the uprooting of, the root encroachments into the green belt, causing some damage to that leg. And the repair is going to involve the installation of root barriers to prevent, further encroachments in the future, as well as the kind of paving of approximately 310 feet of that segment. Budget for this is going to come from the Developers Recreation Fund, which is paid for by proceeds from fee in lieu of parkland paid by developers in the township.
All right.
So, second.
Moved by Commissioner Flona, seconded by Commissioner Sanderson. Any comments or questions?
I do just have a brief question. I was thinking this, was it last month it was something similar, but it was State Farm Road, there was a section there. Is this basically the same kind of thing, but just a different part of the green belt? It's not the same project we were just looking at. I'm just trying to refresh my memory. I was thinking we had just approved something. I'm thinking it was near State Farm. This is a different section.
Different.
Yes, I believe so. I would want to look to the specifics of the contract, but this would be this would be a different leg of the green belt. Yeah.
Okay.
This is
This is up by the cemetery.
Yeah. And by the cemetery.
But I was thinking there was one, so is this a similar kind of work, but a different section of the green belt?
Correct.
Just getting clarified on that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is approval of a retainer agreement with HRG for surveying, design, bidding, and project management of the 2024 Susquehanna Township paving project process. Mr. DeWolf.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your agenda has the proposal from HRG, the Township Engineer, for design, surveying, and contract and project management and administration of the 2024 paving projects. This was reviewed by the Public Works Committee. Recently, the proposed projects will include the repaving of Galen Road, Deer Path Road, Fox Hunt Lane, and Mayflower Alley, which is a small street adjacent to the Susquehanna Township Middle School. Additionally, the township is going to receive some bid alternate proposals for the projects for repaving in North 2nd Street, Pinecrest Drive, and North 6th Street, which has been budgeted under the Transportation Improvement Fund. And then lastly, after some discussion with the Public Works Department and the Public Works Committee, we are including in this bid package stormwater improvements on Fox Hunt Lane and Deer Path Road. A portion of the retainer fees, 10%, would be assigned to the Susquehanna Township Authority, so we'll ask them to approve that engagement as well at their next meeting. That would be coming out of the proceeds from the stormwater fee. So staff is recommending that the board this evening authorize the retainer agreement for the design of paving projects in the amount of $87,450.
Mr. President, I'll move to authorize manager to execute the retainer agreement with HRG regarding our paving projects for 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ordinances, resolutions. Resolution 24R11, which would adopt the Act 537 sewage facility planning special study for the Bucks Run trunk line and force main project. No copy. Mr. Plabo.
Thank you, Mr. President. The agenda this evening has a resolution that would authorize the adoption of an Act 537 plan special study for the Fox Run trunk line and force main project. The study, which is prepared by GHD, the engineering consultant for the authority, has evaluated several alternatives to resolve the capacity issues on that line. The preferred alternative would be an upgrade in the diameter of the line, as well as the replacement of the existing force main and from the pump station with a higher capacity conveyance. Staff is recommending adoption of the resolution this evening.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes, I think we skipped one.
we skipped
I
one.
think we can.
Yes. Number 4, this is the retainer agreement with HRB for bidding and contract administration of the street tree pruning contract. Mr. Pavolka.
Thank you, Mr. President. So again, with your agenda is a proposal from HRG, the township engineer, for design, contract administration, bid management for what will essentially be our first, or at least first in my tenure, issuance of a street tree pruning contract. This is really largely to address the areas of the township where the tree canopy on the streets has grown such that it's now hazardous, as well as it has caused damage or potentially could cause damage to costly fire apparatus and other equipment. The streets that are subject to that are included in that attachment. Staff's recommending the award of the retainer agreement to HRG for $6,975.
Is there a motion on the board?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Sanderson, seconded by Paloma. Comments, questions?
I'm just curious who did the survey to figure out which trees would be trimmed?
That was done in consultation with the fire marshal and public works director.
Okay. So you got equipment that's bumping into low-hanging limbs and you need to get that out of the way. Okay.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 24R12, which would authorize the president and secretary to execute a declaration of understanding with Paul and Linda Palonzo of 3005 North Progress Avenue for the replacement of an on-lot sewage system. Mr. Pavolka.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Board has a copy of the resolution with your agenda this evening. As the preamble indicates, it authorizes President Lynch and myself to sign a declaration of understanding with the residents, or the property owners rather, of 3005 North Progress Avenue. They had an issue with their on-lot septic system, a failure last year because of their proximity of a sewer main just on the other side of Progress Avenue. Our ordinance would typically require that they make the connection. However, in order to do so, it would be, a very costly initiative requiring a PennDOT highway occupancy permit, boring under Progress Avenue, which may present some additional issues in and of themselves. The property owner petitioned and received approval from the authority to install a alternative on-lot disposal system to treat the property, but it was conditional on their agreement to connect to the sanitary sewer conveyance system if and when a main is ran on the east side of Progress Avenue. Therefore, they wouldn't be required to bore beneath the state highway. The authorities approved the waiver, but the ordinance is under the jurisdiction of the board, so it requires your approval this evening, which we are recommending that you do this. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-R-12.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President, before we, just a clarification, item number 1, where we were out of order, I thought we made a motion in a second, but I didn't recall that we actually voted. Or did we vote on that? I want to make sure we did have a vote.
Leanne?
Yes.
We did have a vote?
Yes, you did have a
You
vote.
voted yes?
Yes.
Okay, I just wasn't sure, and I wanted to make sure we had that in the record. Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we on number 3 now.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 24R13. Adopting a compliance policy with Pennsylvania Act 151 of 2022. Mr. Volker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Staff's been developing a compliance policy with PA Act 151 of 2022. The act is very self-explanatory. It just obligates a municipality to establish a process in compliance with the policy for reporting and notifying both the Attorney General as well as the Dauphin County District Attorney for any breaches of personal information when discovered by the township. We don't really have custody of a lot of personal information, but we do have some. And so this policy is in compliance with that, as well as providing some additional guidelines regarding the custody of personal information applicable to staff and contractors. These include things like, not moving that personal information by unencrypted personal storage devices, or providing for an opportunity for outside actors to have any sort of access to that data. So the resolution is in your agenda as well as the accompanying policy, and staff is recommending adoption this evening.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Cross. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Staff reports, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. My report is in your package. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. There's 2 liquor license-related attachments to the packet. The first is just sort of an acknowledgement of the resolution that was previously approved by the board for the transfer of the liquor license from Dewberry Restaurant of the City of Harrisburg to Permanente Corporation for their upcoming restaurant in Susquehanna Union Green, because that was an intermunicipal transfer, it required your approval. The second is an intra-municipal transfer, not requiring your authorization, but it is for a Nepali Grocery LLC corporation on 49 North Progress Avenue. We have begun the process to begin preliminary design of the renovation project planned and budgeted for in the police station. This is a allocation of the American Rescue Plan Act funding dollars that remain. There's not a whole lot to report on that, but I will certainly keep the board and the Building and Grounds Committee informed as that project develops. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Public safety. George, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. The car in question, if I'm correct, at 6th Street Station. They're cutting that up tomorrow or Sunday. It'll be removed this week or that week. And then on the 27th, we have another class that will be done 2 days after the class. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Well, we had a resident here, you weren't here earlier, discussing his concerns with the storage of vehicles there, and I happen to agree. I understand you're going to be conducting the training in the near future, but it's my opinion that vehicles shouldn't be stored there going forward. If a resident had a vehicle stored on a property like that, they would receive a citation. It's a hazard. And it's unsightly.
Okay, I'll pass that on to Rescue Fire Company in the city.
You are the fire marshal, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Right. Community economic development. Anything on that front? Dave?
No, sir. The report's in your packet. If there's any questions that I can't answer, I will happily get you a response from the director when she returns from a conference.
Public Works, anything back there?
No, sir.
All right. Engineering?
No, nothing additional to report other than what's in my written report, other than we will be conducting a survey out front for the municipal sidewalk project next Wednesday, weather permitting. So if you see some guys in yellow shirts jumping around your front yard, that's what that is.
Love Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have some,
Go for it.
I made a errata on the engineer's report. It's come to my attention, and I think it's important to note that the engineer became engaged on February 14th to a young lawyer named Morgan Madden from the law firm of Eckert Siemens. And although it's not appropriate for me to object yet, this hasn't happened, it's appropriate to congratulate the engineer on his willingness to enter into the holy state of matrimony. So, I think his report was deficient in some respects. Two Susquehanna residents. So,
Fourth Ward residents, I understand.
double the tax revenue.
Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it. Congratulations. Thank you.
And I want that spread on the record. In addition, as to item M1, the RDA authority, after we approve the authority and the appointments thereto, we will file a notice with the Department of State. We'll get a certificate formally standing up the RDA. So that's my report. I'm sticking to it.
Very good, thank you. Parks and Rec, anything on that front?
Nothing to add.
Okay. All right, old business, appointments to the Susquehanna Township Redevelopment Authority. The board has, a couple months ago, directed, actually, we passed a resolution stating a desire to create a redevelopment authority in the event that the township could utilize such an entity to take advantage of opportunities that may come down the road. It's fairly cost effective to create an authority. It's always there when you need it. And so we did pass that resolution. And we have a list of names of citizens who have to be members of this board of commissioners that are proposed to serve on as founding members of the redevelopment authority. And so we turn it over to Commissioner Sanderson to make a motion to that effect.
President Lynch, I move to establish the members of the redevelopment authority, the following order and term expirations. Judy Rubarczyk to expire December 31st, 2024. Steve Napper, term to expire December 31st, 25. Gary Rothrock, term to expire December 31st, 26. Frank Lynch, term to expire December 31st, 27. And Sean Sanderson,
myself, December 31st, 2028. I think it's important to note there is no remuneration for serving on this board. Should there be any other recusals or notifications, Mr. Bureau?
The Bureau sees none, but congratulations to those people for taking yet another unpaid mandate and job and meeting.
Such is my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded by Commissioner Israel. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We already did the civil service list. We moved that up. Moving into the consent agenda, there's multiple items here. And I'll go through them. Members of the board, once the motion is made, can feel free to ask questions or offer comments. Let's get them on the, let's get it moved first. The agenda includes statement of bills paid, letter of support request for the Capital Area Greenbelt Association. All these are in the packet, by the way. Park amenities order approval, George Eli and Associates. Authorization to hire stormwater technician. Authorization to hire seasonal park maintenance staff. Acceptance of the resignation of Herbert Chappelle. Acceptance of the resignation of Alicia Knoll. 3727 North 3rd Street tree removal authorization. Financial security adjustment number 4 at Solid Rock Missionary Baptist Church in the amount of $10,021. And financial security adjustment number 3 for Susquehanna Union Green Phases 3A and 3B in the amount of $12,738. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Marchak, seconded by Commissioner Polona. Any comments or questions on any one of those?
Yes, Mr. President. Just curious about the tree removal authorization. It's unusual for us to see that on the agenda, so I was just curious as to why.
Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about it too, just to, in terms of when or how because I was told recently, because I had brought it up, if we ever get involved with that, I was told it was up to the resident, so I'd be curious as well. So I want to make sure that, might as well just answer the whole thing, or both comments together.
Sure. So this particular tree is in front of a piece of property that doesn't have an adjacent private property owner to assign the cost to. It's a dead oak tree. It's about 70 foot tall, and it has created a pretty regular public safety hazard with falling branches and the like. And so typically, Commissioner, you're correct, we would obligate the adjacent private property owner. In this case, it's a segment of the Green Street extension that has a particularly wide right-of-way and a grassy area that the township's obligated to maintain. And so we would really be the adjacent property owner in this application, which is why we're recommending that we move forward with the engagement with Schultz.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is Humane Society Agreement Amendment. Mr. Provoca.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the board has with your agenda this evening, an amendment to the 2024 Municipal Domestic Animal Protective Services Agreement that the township entered into with the Humane Society of Harrisburg. Essentially, it removes their breed designation for the types of dogs that they intake. Right now, there is a charge for pit bull breeds and non-pit bull breeds. They've essentially kind of combined the two, and their reason for doing so is because oftentimes the breeds are inaccurate and difficult to report, and really there's not a great deal of difference as far as the kind of care it takes to handle the two different breeds. The public safety director was consulted prior to presenting this, and there are no objections from staff. So we are recommending authorization of the amendment this evening.
I'll move, Mr. President, for approval of this. In fact, I actually just read an article about this. This is something generally they're doing. So I guess they're just trying to get the townships to go along with their new policy with this, so that makes sense.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Falona. No, I'm serious. He seconded it and then Carl piped in, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good.
Piped in. I mean, offered his thoughts.
Yes.
With my motion, yeah.
Yeah. I missed that.
He bugged you. All right, comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Hotel, motel, and inn regulatory ordinance authorization for public hearing. Mr. Provolker.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this has been the discussion of late with staff to try to identify a way to be able to bring some of the regulations and requirements that the township has, some of our hotels that operate in the township into compliance with those regulations. So what the draft ordinance does is promote, or it promulgates a licensure program whereby the township would be able to inspect these premises and, again, to ensure compliance with existing regulations, as well as a few additional regulations that are included in the draft ordinance. There are some things that need to be added and revised in the draft this evening, but what we're requesting that you do is authorize advertisement of the public hearing for Thursday, April 11th. That's April's regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, and we can begin the process to finalize that draft and do the appropriate advertisement for that evening.
So moved.
Second. Moved to establish a hearing and seconded by Commissioner Napa. Mr. Solicitor, do you have anything to add before we seek comments?
No, I think we're gonna, as the manager said, we've had some robust discussions about this. The initial draft is pretty solid. It needs a little bit of polishing. There are a couple things I think we agree on removing, a couple things we agree on enhancing, but it is, I think we've all been convinced, an ordinance that we need to publicly debate and consider, and will be an aid to us in making sure that all of our hotels and inns are an asset to the community rather than a detriment. So its time has come, and we hope to, on the 11th, bring something before you that is worth considering.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner comments? Hopefully none. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And thirded. Mr. Fleming. Any comments or questions on the adjournment of motion?
Yeah.
No? You want to think about it? All right. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're out of here. Go.